Okay, hello class. This is weekly update number 1. Every week I'm going to post these usually at the start of a week's module, so Wednesday, but sometimes it'll be a Thursday, Friday, because I want to have time to grade some of your material. And so this will be the way to communicate shout outs for good work, maybe things I need to review. I notice a lot of questions, common questions that I'm getting, and I'll comment on that post. Maybe even use the whiteboard and post some comments and advice on handling those types of problems. Let's see. And then I'll also mention feedback on some of the assignments. So that's what we'll start with this week. So you had a few in Module 0, the orientation module. So one of the main things was that you would get the material for the class and then learn how to use some of the tools in OAK. So these are low stakes assignments to get you familiar with how to submit your work. And so one of the things I wanted to talk about was the journal assignment. You had to go get your journals from the bookstore or if you had them mailed to you. And then you had to pick a couple pages you liked and then submit them as a PDF. And it's important that our homework is always submitted as one PDF file. That makes it much easier for Chloe and I to do the grading. So I need to put Chloe's information. Chloe is a rock star math major, and it's her last name, cm@g.cfc.edu. And she also works in the math lab. So go to the math lab schedule. You can go to CFC Center for Student Learning. They're going to try to have some in-person hours this semester, which is in Addlestone Library, the first floor, Center for Student Learning there. And then within that is the math lab, which is run by a woman named Hope Florence, and then they're staffed by many math majors and graduate students in mathematics. Chloe is one of those, and she's helping out with our class. So this is another great person to ask for help besides me. And she works in the math lab, and there's free tutoring there, and that is also in person or virtually. So if you have any questions this semester, you can go to the math lab, just go to Google, type in CFC Math Lab. Their homepage there has a big red button where you can schedule an appointment. And it'll be every 15 minutes, but you can stay for hours if you like. And it's free one-on-one, often one-on-one, sometimes there'll be group as well, tutoring. And Chloe has taken this class. She's also helped as a grader for it multiple times. So she's an excellent resource. She knows how I like to ask questions. She'll prepare you for quizzes if there's anything difficult. And so you can just click on that and get your virtual appointment. I got onto Chloe because we want one PDF file. Again, this makes it easier for Chloe and I to look at it, but it also is helpful for the OAK system that it doesn't tax it. So one thing you can do, again, Cam Scanner is a good one if you're taking pictures of things with your phone and turning it into one PDF. But if you use something else, I think it was it Keegan this time? Yeah, Keegan mentioned that she had a Word document, so .docx file. You can often take those and you might want to submit your homework. There's last semester students like to use like a PowerPoint or a Word file and put images and then annotations next to that. And then you can print that. So you print it to a PDF and then you have one PDF file. So that's a way to get around that as well. Thanks for the submissions on the journal pages that you liked. That was neat for me to see. I agree, Patrick, it's hard to pass up Hypatia. He's a fan of Hypatia. And also thank you, Griffin, who thought these were pretty cool books. I hope you guys all think that. And then next comment is I got an email from Savannah before the semester started about the price, and that just shocked me. And I apologize, I had no idea that it was just supposed to be at cost, and it is at cost, but the bookstore does a little bit of a markup. And then I think for mailing them to you, they put another markup on that. So I was trying to keep it low cost, but it didn't turn out. I'm currently pursuing other options for maybe using Lulu or some self-publishing instead of the Copy Center. But hopefully you'll find it's worth it. You really enjoy those journals and it makes learning much easier. Okay, for the Zoom videos, at this point, a couple of groups have submitted, so that was really helpful. I just wanted to say thank you to the PBS group. That's Cameron, Patrick, and Liam. We've got also the Algebros, another group that's Calissa, Ali, and Grant. It looks really neat this semester. We've got all ranges of majors from math, math ed. Let's see, I think, yeah, Cameron was a math ed. We've got physics, astrophysics. Liam is a freshman, wants to be a triple major. We've got super skilled folks like Liam has played the piano for a long time. Patrick did space camp, travel around the world. Cameron can do backflips. And we've got several freshmen already in this class, a couple sophomores, people ranging all the way up to seniors. So it's neat. I think we're going to have a good time. And this is also, these weekly updates are how I'm going to sort of build community by bringing ideas from different groups into this. So you'll see this weekly update to get to meet a lot of your classmates besides just your teammates. Also cool for the Clarissa, Allie, and Grant who did the Zoom as a gallery view. So nice job submitting those. Oh, also anytime you make notes in the, some of you are already doing this when you submit your assignments and type in a little note. I just want it to be known that I read those, I read everything you guys submit and write, and I'll try to use weekly updates to sort of reply back to those. I don't have time to always go in and type something next to everyone, but I'll use the weekly updates and just let it be known that I'm reading and aware of everything you're writing and submitting, and I appreciate that. Okay, the math is assignment. That was fun to read for me too. You guys had a lot of different takes on that. I really liked Aaron's comment that math can sometimes be challenging because there's thousands of years of math built as a subject, unlike many others, where it just keeps on building. And we're going on thousands of years of work that you're trying to put into a few years of a math career. Many of you talked about sort of this love-hate relationship and the struggles with it. Grace, Dana Main, and Alia mentioned we're on that vein. And then there are quite a few along the philosophical vein about what math interests you about math and sort of how you perform and do it. Was Patrick had a philosophical take on it, and Griffin talked about how it's elegant and powerful, and Liam talked about sort of the wonder and mystery associated with it. And I agree with all those as well. Those are things that drew me to it. I really like Christine Keegan's answers. So if you haven't read those, check them out. There's a short, their definition of what math is: this study of numbers, study of patterns, study of problem solving and quantities. Then Clarissa's I also identified with this. What draws her is the problem solving and the puzzle nature of it, and the sort of exploring. You're being a mathematical explorer. That's a fun part. Okay, and then quick summary on the tech tool discussion board. That was neat. A lot of folks like their TIs. TI 84 came up a lot, a few 89s. If you're a TI fan and you haven't gotten a TI 89, that's pretty neat. If many of you are physics, astrophysics, chemistry, math, and you will have a long math career, in which case TI 89 might be worth it, because if you didn't know, there's at least one person in class that has the TI 89. Go to there and mention. But the sales pitches it can do is basically like a handheld little Maple or MATLAB. It can do, or Wolfram right there, because it can do integration and derivatives. It can all do that symbolic manipulation, which is unusual. It's one of the first calculators to do that. And that's why it's actually a lot of folks, when you're teaching in person, won't let you use your TI 89 because it can do those symbolic calculations. And then Dana May is attached to her. She likes it because she's got a personalized blue one. That was cool to hear. Several folks are fans of Desmos and Wolfram. We'll use both of those. We'll use Wolfram, and I'll have, as we use them, you'll see in the journals, they're what are called tech tool pages. They're sort of mini tutorials about different tools that might help you. We'll use Wolfram Alpha, and I'll have also video tutorials about those. And then another one we're going to use often throughout this semester is a really cool free tool called CalcPlot 3D. That'll appear repeatedly in your tech tool pages and in the video tutorials. And students last semester just loved it. It's a really fantastic award-winning tool. I liked Keegan's comment also in the tech tools about, she liked the fact that in Desmos she could like parameterize something and watch how a function might change with respect to that parameter, which is neat. Like for instance, when I'm teaching Calc 1 and we're graphing a function, we want to look at the tangent line, how it changes over time. We can parameterize that and see this straight line changing over time. But it was interesting that she talked about in her home country, which I haven't gotten to see a video from those, so I can't tell you what that is. I'll report back next week on what Keegan's home country is, but they were not allowed. And it was very important that you were taught the skill of how to graph by hand and learn different properties, and then how this can complement that. And I think it'll be neat Keegan to see this semester how that plays out when we're looking at three-dimensional space. So three-dimensional objects, much more difficult to be able to do by hand, but we're going to visualize them by hand. We're going to spend a good part of chapter 1 visualizing them by hand, and then extend to tech tools that enable us to do quite a bit more difficult problems. And we don't have to stick with sort of the canned textbook functions. Okay, I try to keep these to about 10 to 15 minutes each week. And I'm really looking forward to seeing more of your submissions and more of the team Zoom videos and what we report back. All right, well, have fun with Module 1 and just ask questions. We got Chloe, you got me, you got the math lab. All right, enjoy.